Good morning to you, man.
Yeah, good
How's
morning
the
to you.
day? How's the day looking for you over there?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I guess just getting started. It's 9:15 now, so a couple
Yeah,
coffees and it's starting to get it's starting to get a little chilly here.
yeah. Hey, I guess
Yeah.
winter. You're like in fall right now.
Yeah, we're in fall and it's not even like we had really nice weather this weekend. And then yeah, it's just a little chilly, some rain, but it's nice. I like it.
Fair. I guess that ocean side, like when those cool, breezes come in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad. I can't complain. It's
I know it's
refreshing.
funny. It's like it's now starting to be the opposite over here. It's like we're
Yeah.
getting some sunny weather. I think it's like
No.
13 degrees today.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, we'll probably be on par pretty soon for a little bit, and then you
Yeah,
guys will take off.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Preseason testing is done.
it's done, and I thought it was pretty exciting. Like as exciting as like preseason testing can get.
Yeah,
You, um, Bahrain this year, which is also going to be the opening Grand Prix, and uh, I just thought it was like the conditions kind of. I don't think they were what everyone expected them to be. Uh,
totally.
and I think that's just interesting because I hope that the Grand Prix there might be something like that too. Like it's not perfect conditions.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
wonder if that has to do with the with the time of year over there,
maybe yeah, because
or
like the,
what
the
the
it looked like so like apocalyptic, man. It was like dusty and
that
like
first day when like the
dark.
dust, yeah,
Oh
they had like
yeah,
a sandstorm or something coming
yeah,
through.
yeah. It
Those
looked
are some
wicked.
gnarly those are some gnarly photographs.
Some really cool photos. Yeah. Um,
Um,
I thought the liveries too on track looked really cool. Like I think like you can see the liveries like photos, but like when you see the car on track, um, they looked awesome. Like the Aston Martin looked great. The
yeah.
Alpine looked really good. They just like the cars just look really awesome this year. The Alfa Romeo looks clean.
Dude, even the Haas, like I know they were
Yeah,
slowest out there, but I mean the
yeah.
car looked cool. Like
It does look really cool. Yeah.
it reminded me of like when we were kids and you'd have those like cyclone lollipops like from the ice cream
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. It's funny.
I always like am a little weary with testing because you'll have like sandbagging is always a potential, strategy,
Yeah. But
especially with only 1 week of testing. Well, I don't know actually, because with 1 week of testing,
not
it
even a
almost
week,
makes
3 days.
totally like
Yeah.
1 weekend, I guess. It
Yeah.
makes me feel like you only have 3 days of this. You only got three
Yeah.
shots, right? So you do want to make sure you're trying to get the most out of the car and be pushing
Mhm.
it to its limits. And if you're running a new gearbox or you're running a new engine, you're going to want to
Right.
make sure that you're thoroughly going through it. Where so we had, I think Mercedes said it. They said in a few interviews I was kind of reading that it just they weren't as fast. They feel like they're not as fast as the Red Bull this year.
Yeah.
And it's, after watching the last 3 seasons, it's hard to imagine
It's
that's
really
going
hard
to be
to
the
imagine.
case.
Yeah. The one thing that I was surprised about with Mercedes was like they had one lap in on day one with Bottas and had to change the gearbox. So like
Right.
reliability wise, that's like that could be like a little, I don't know, a red flag, I guess. But
Yeah.
um, when I think of sandbagging, I like look back to last year when Ferrari was really slow and everyone was like, "Oh, Ferrari's just sandbagging." Like, there's no
Yeah.
way they do this every year. Then it's like that joke. Ferrari sucks.
Yeah. No kidding. I think
Yeah.
their sandbagging days are over. They're trying to just get through it.
Oh yeah. It
you
was
know.
the irony in like the one clip was it was something along the lines of Ferrari is relying on a new power unit to help them bounce back after last season, and then the next shot is Charles Leclerc retires after failed power unit in this session.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
feel for those guys right
Yeah.
now. Like And I feel for all the Ferrari fans because there's so many. It's like everywhere you go
Absolutely.
around the world, like
Yeah.
you have, a little mini army at least
For sure.
of Ferrari fans.
And I would
And
say
it's
like without a doubt, they're probably like the most passionate fans.
oh yeah,
Yeah, like 100%.
for sure. Those I feel like the Max Verstappen's fans, what do they call themselves? Whenever you go to like any, even Germany, they're showing up, or in Austria, it's like the Orange Army, or it's like the orange,
the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, something like that. Those guys are wild.
Yeah,
that's it's like a frat party, like a huge frat party.
Totally.
What did you think of Verstappen?
I mean, I've always been a fan of his just because of his like raw talent of driving. But I mean, he looked awesome in the car. But yeah, like what you said, it's tough with preseason because you just never know, right? Like all those other teams could be holding a little bit back and everyone's still just getting used to the car. But Red Bull looked really good. Perez looked really good. And Max just seemed to get better like as the weekend went on. It was at the top of the leaderboard all weekend long.
Yeah, he was looking quick out there, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then I just looking here because Yuki Tsunoda, rookie, second place after the week on Sunday in timing in the Alpha, which I thought was pretty impressive. And it just kind of it just shows that like, yeah, he does have he's got the talent to be on the grid this year. And that also shows that car's quick too.
100%, man. Yeah. I came across a few articles that were talking about kind of just the rankings over the weekend, and everyone seemed, pleasantly surprised by AlphaTauri.
Totally. Yeah.
And the new driver, I was reading a few people, it's funny when you see these articles and then you start getting into the comments, because that's just like you and me just like bashing in there. And people were saying it's a PR stunt, like he's not actually that quick, blah blah blah.
Right.
So I'm curious to see him when he gets like, I find like that qualifying pace is always really almost qualifying pace and race pace are like two different beasts, right? Like
100%.
Looking back last year at Lance Stroll, it's like he would have his qualifying, he just didn't have really good qualifying like ever.
No.
But then his race pace was actually really good.
For sure.
And he was in a good car, so he would kind of like finish the race just shy of kind of where Perez was, or because at a certain point, I feel like when you have 72 laps or 52 laps or whatever it is, the cars kind of finish where they're meant to finish. The driver does a lot, obviously, but that's how you'll find sometimes, Lance starting in P13, but then finishing in P8, kind of like a place or two behind Perez, who just couldn't get past P6, or P5. I'm curious to see how the AlphaTauris do. And if, Pierre Gasly, it seems like that'll be a pretty good lineup for that team.
Absolutely.
And we saw him have some great races last year, and maybe that Honda engine seems like they kind of fine-tuned it with the whole Red Bull car. So that'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be really cool. And I think that that team after last year, just like showing that they can compete. I think this year it'll be exciting to see how they do, because you have Gasly coming down from Red Bull and everyone kind of expects him to not really do that well, and maybe it's not even do that well, but just kind of like not really do anything exciting. And he had an unreal season last year.
He did. I'm looking forward to seeing those guys battle for that, like, that fourth, fifth place.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
In the constructors.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you, the Aussie down there at McLaren, what did you think of? He had a nice little shout out to, all the Aussies.
We were supposed to be in Melbourne this weekend, but we're going to do it properly in November, he said. So
I know, that was cool, man. That's, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was wicked.
No, I think it's really cool. kind of what I expected. I don't think like he was just like competing all weekend, but never like really super fast and never super slow. So I think you could agree and say like he's probably one of the most talented drivers on the grid, and like this is probably one of his better chances to compete for like the top spot, or like in that top 3 spot like consistently throughout the year. So I think it's just gonna come down to race day, man. I hope he does well. I think it'd be really exciting to see that team do well.
I agree, man. And I think they're just going to be fun to watch because, Lando Norris is such a character.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
And the two of them together it's going to be comical.
Yeah, no, it'll be super funny.
I hope we get to see Daniel on the live stream, because Lando has been going crazy on Twitch, man. That guy's he's huge on Twitch.
Oh, he is, man. Yeah, that's it's like his backup career.
It is 100%. He's making it. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm just looking at some of the day 3 standings here. It was good to see Carlos Sainz. Feeling pretty comfortable in the car too. Yeah, on day 3.
Kimi Raikkonen puts in 164 laps.
Dude, the guy's a marathon
3 racer. Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what I'm excited to see what he does. In the almost his post career. What kind of, if he ends up going. I mean, he won't have to do anything if he doesn't want to.
No, not at all.
If he gets into some like endurance racing or like Le Mans, or it would just be fun to.
Yeah,
I feel like that guy, like being 40 years old and racing in Formula One, you have to love it because you're not going to be on those top teams that are competing for a world championship. He's won his world championship, so he just strictly loves it.
Oh, for sure, man. And like I think it's like he just loves motorsports. So yeah, I could see him after retiring, did he sign just like a 1-year deal? I would imagine he's probably done after this year.
I think so.
I would think so, but
yeah,
who knows?
I was actually surprised that it was the same lineup for Alfa Romeo.
I was really surprised. I think everyone kind of was. They kind of expected to switch up, but maybe, I guess like there's like 2 ways of going about it. Like you look at Haas, who switches both their drivers, 2 rookies, and they're definitely planning for like the new regulations.
Yeah.
But I would imagine Alfa Romeo would probably switch up their lineup going into those regulations next year when they change.
Yeah, 100%.
I would think.
Yeah, Nikita Mazepin, and then Mick Schumacher. I saw Mazepin had a couple close calls. He almost went into the back of Lewis one time, I believe, and then I think he came really close with Kimi also.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Yeah. He's just all over the place.
Is always interesting. Yeah, I know. And then what else did I see? I saw them like Mick was leaving the pit lane and like hit one, like the thing that pumps up the
he ran over a jack.
He hit a jack, and the jack was flying.
Trouble already for us.
Yeah, a couple rookies, that's big, man. When you go from that, F2 car to an F1 car, I mean, that's what you hear them talk about is just the power, the power difference is just crazy.
And from like a team perspective, like I guess from like a team principal perspective, like you've been dealing with these 2 veterans for the last, like, I don't know, the whole time. And now you get rid of 2 veterans in Roman Grosjean and I can't remember the other Roman Grosjean and what was his
fuck me, I'm blanking on it now too. I can picture his face clearly.
I know, I can see his face too. Short haired, blonde. Anyways, you get rid of those 2 veterans and then you bring in 2 rookies. And like from a team principal perspective, it's just I would imagine it's interesting. They're probably like super eager and like ready to learn, but at the same time, there's probably like so much that the team needs to teach them. Like you're just gonna rely on your team so much more than you did before.
100%, man. Yeah.
Kevin Magnussen.
How did we forget Kevin, man? He was I feel like he was a good driver. It just never really, it just didn't work out.
Oh, for sure. I think
Yeah,
that's just
like
what
with the
happened with that.
cars he had kind of when he was racing, it just never really happened.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Um,
Did you
what
find it
else you
also
got?
at all surprising that George didn't drive until the last day?
Weird. What happened
Yeah,
there?
I think they had like a test driver driving the first day, and then there was
He's
some
just too
issues.
good.
I don't know, maybe like the team, uh there was like the reliability was fine, like the car was just like running well all weekend. Latifi had like a couple spins and like blew a tire or something like that, but then George didn't hop in the car until Sunday, and he put in 160 laps or something like that.
Weird.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I said,
interesting.
yeah, interesting. I don't know if it was just like a team thing, or yeah, maybe he felt like uh Latifi and like their test driver could benefit from more time in the car than he could,
Yeah,
but who
totally.
knows.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at Kimi with 165 laps on day 3. That's just nuts.
It's nuts, man. Yeah,
And
it's
then
wild.
George Russell put in 157 that day. Okay,
Yeah,
what about the Aston Martin struggled a bit, eh?
it did struggle a little bit, and I think it was fast at times, but it never really like what on day like they're both near the bottom of the leaderboard at the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
It looks, I don't know. That's the thing with preseason testing, because you would expect that car to be like up there, and last year it wasn't last year
Yeah.
it was like at the top. So
Yeah.
I think it's just going to come down to race weekend, and we'll really kind of see everything. I think I've seen a
Totally.
little bit, but I don't know. I would imagine it's going to be competing for that like podium fourth, fifth spot like all season.
Mhm.
I would think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be right in there. And Vettel, I think he was I think he had the least amount of laps
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
for like the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And that was just because the car kind of just kept getting into a bunch of different issues.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like with the new car, and they probably like, they have the same power unit as last year with that racing point. But I imagine there's just like a bunch of moving parts and trying to put certain things together in different areas of the car.
For sure.
That there was like a gearbox issue on one of them, and then and there's like electrical issues, like little things like you don't even really think about.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully, yeah, like you said, now, and I think I was actually reading that Aston Martin was really pushing to have 2 weeks after testing, like because I guess the FIA wanted to have the race like next week, March, like the weekend coming up.
Yeah, right.
But Aston Martin really they were a key piece in pushing it the extra week so that they could make the necessary changes.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense from like a new team's perspective. You probably want as much time as you can get. So
100%, man. Like if you finish testing yesterday and then you're hopping into, if you're practicing on Friday.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, that's quick.
Yeah, it's super quick.
Yeah. I didn't really hear too much about Ocon over the weekend. I mean, Fernando Alonso apparently, everything I read on it was saying how he kind of just hopped right back into his old ways of like, he's a very consistent, fast driver.
Yeah. After breaking his jaw in a cycling accident, like a couple months ago.
Wild, hey?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I was just gonna say too, I didn't really like that. Both those guys, like I didn't really hear about Alonso at all until I think it was like the third day they brought him up. And I found that kind of surprising, because I felt like with him coming back in, like you were just going to see a bunch of him all over the place. So I don't know if he's just like a tough guy to get hold of or what, but they didn't talk about him much at all.
Yeah, I feel like he's been around it for so long that he knows how to weasel his way around.
For sure. Just like
maybe
hiding
the
from
press.
the media. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I respect.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Ocon had a couple like really good days, and the car seems to be like really reliable, and they put in like some big sessions. So I have here on day one, Ocon was third at the end of the day, 4/10 behind Max. And
nice, that's great.
Yeah. So
Solid.
Yeah, put 129 laps in on day one,
Real.
which is pretty great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that car does against the team.
Yeah,
or against like the rest of the teams. It should be, yeah. I mean, Renault. It seemed like at the end of their season last year, they were starting to compete like more and more.
for sure.
So to see them kind of with a full switch and like a good young driver, and then just like a champion old driver, like a vet, it'll be fun to watch them. I saw Alonso in practice. I can't remember which day it was, but a clip I was seeing, he was going head to head with Hamilton, which was pretty funny with Lewis. And they were just going side by side around a couple corners or like a chicane or something.
It is even there was even a clip with, I think it was Kimi Raikkonen and Carlos doing like the same thing, just like competing for track position on preseason testing. And I'm just like, no, these guys cannot wait to race.
No, gotta love it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, it'll be exciting. When is the race? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's the 27th, I think.
Yeah, right.
Like that weekend.
Yeah,
something like that.
And I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, 26. So 28th is the race, and then I don't know what I mean. Time zones are just a shit show, but yeah, I don't know what it might be. Saturday night for us here.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I found for me, most of them were like late. Like late, like middle of the night Saturday. So I would just wake up and watch them Sunday morning. It was perfect.
Right, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was really.
And were you like recording them and then watching?
No, they have like it's KO. It's like DAZN. So I would just watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, here anyway, it's gonna be Sunday morning at 8 a.m. That's perfect.
Oh, that's perfect. That's so nice. Yeah. So Sunday night.
I think so, unless that's actually.
I think it's gonna be
wrong. Oh no, yeah, Pacific time.
Yeah, I think it's a night race to start, which will be cool. Cars under the lights. It'll be sweet. Hopefully, absolutely.
Yeah. I guess in Abu Dhabi they always do the races out east at nighttime, or Middle East, sorry, because it gets pretty hot, I imagine, out there.
Yeah, I believe it.
Okay, so just circulating back to Verstappen there. He is on every thumbnail of every article. That Red Bull car is right there, which is
absolutely, man,
awesome for him, and I think even more so just awesome for Red Bull.
Totally.
Like they've got now with Perez, who I heard him be called, Mr. Consistent or something along those lines, because he's known to be this like super consistent driver.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is fantastic. Where if Max is able to be like pushing the limit, because he's been in this car for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. I think it's his fifth season in this Red Bull car.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, which is wild. The fact that he's like 23 or 20, I think he's like 24.
So
it's
crazy.
Nuts. But then to have a guy like, he's 23, he's a 97.
Yeah, crazy, man. Well, we talked about it. We talked about it last weekend. Like the places you've seen Max struggle is just not having the support from a teammate in the last couple of seasons. And I think like Perez is that guy, and it'll be interesting to see how the season goes. And if Red Bull, because like Red Bull, I feel like notoriously in the last few years has just kind of put all their like eggs in Max's basket, so to speak. And so
especially after Danny was there.
Totally. Yeah. Like you basically, like, they say they wanted to keep him, but you basically like walked out one of the best drivers on the grid to go to another team because you're just going to like commit to Max as like being the younger talent. And so I'm just curious if that's still going to be the case, or if you're going to see like strategy sometimes not always being like played towards Max, and you have like Perez. I just think like we'll just see how the season goes, really, I guess. And
100%.
Yeah, but I think Perez is like we were all sad when we thought he was going to be leaving, because he like definitely deserves a spot on the grid. And I think Red Bull is like it's awesome. It's great for him and like in his career. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. And now we just have to, wait a couple short weeks, March, springtime. That's what I love about springtime, is that the weeks just fly by.
By. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Everyone's kind of in a rhythm and grooving. And now, testing's done and we're coming up to that first race of the season, which is going to be highly anticipated.
Sure.
And a whole lot of fun.
And my favorite thing about springtime is like when Christmas comes along and you get a brand new season of Drive to Survive that comes out on this weekend.
Absolutely. I know. And I think that's popping out in like Thursday or something.
Yeah, it comes out, I think.
So that's
this weekend, man.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be an interesting one. I wonder how like close up they were able to get.
Totally.
With COVID protocols and everything.
Yeah. I was honestly really surprised that when they announced that they had been filming another one, I was just like shocked, because I would imagine like from the FIA's standpoint, you probably want like a Netflix show really isn't like a necessary thing to be doing during a pandemic. But yeah, I'm excited to see. There'll be a couple like really exciting races in there to have episodes on. I'm excited.
Yeah. What do you think which moment, just looking back quickly, I'm trying to like think to
was it the Monza race where like Gasly, Stroll, and I can't remember who else ended up on the podium, like the three, like it was like a series of events that like got them there between like, I think it was restarts and safety cars and stuff like that. But I think that'll be the most exciting for sure.
Totally. And I'm sure they're going to highlight the crash at where was that? That was Bahrain, wasn't that? Or where was that?
That was like, was that Dubai? Was that like the last?
No,
it wasn't the last race.
Dubai.
No.
I remember they went and did two tracks. They went and did like two separate circuits on that one.
Right.
Like two weekends in a row.
It was Bahrain.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, the man that escaped fire.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're going to do a pretty big, episode and interview on that, which will be super interesting because, man, I remember looking back at that one and like watching it.
Oh yeah.
And I thought whoever was driving, because I couldn't even tell the car because the camera like switched to the front of the straight to see all the cars coming at you.
Yeah, man. And you just saw this ball.
And then all of a sudden you saw this explosion.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy fuck. Like, yeah, I thought that driver was dead for sure. And then, Formula One and like the broadcasting team didn't go to it right away because they're making sure that he didn't die, or they were trying to figure out, right? They didn't want it to be too sensitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first crash that I've like witnessed live.
For sure.
And then my heart was like pounding.
Exactly. Yeah. Like watching that live, you're just like, it was just like oh no. This is like immediately you knew it wasn't good. You just saw fire and you're like, this is not good. But
you don't see F1 cars like blow up like that very often.
No, not at all.
Like, it was like an explosion.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts.
And I mean, obviously they have the most. Yeah, their fuel tanks are full at that point because that was like the third corner of the race.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Anyway, that'll be interesting, and Drive to Survive coming on Netflix. I think that's one of the best things that's in the modern day, like the last 5 years of F1. That's been like the best thing that's happened to it.
Oh, dude, it's brought in life back to the sport for sure, and like opened it to a whole new fan base.
Totally. And then even the fan base that was currently there was able to like get this behind the scenes in depth, point of view, which everybody craves, like if it's your favorite sports or your favorite sports team or whatever, like
for sure
you want to see that like backstage, BTS. It's just interesting.
Absolutely, man.
So
I'm excited to watch it and excited to talk about it too. Next week we'll talk about a couple episodes.
Me too. And I think next week we'll try and get Mitch, he really wanted to make it to this one, but he was just he was busy. So I'm going to try and get him involved on the next one, even for like 30 minutes or so.
Sweet, man.
And at that point, who knows, maybe we can talk a little bit about Champions League, because this week is like the last set of round of 16 for Champions League. So all the teams will be set to play each other. And so maybe we'll just run 10 or 15, 20 minutes on that just for fun.
Love it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much of an asset I will be to that conversation, but I'll do my homework.
Dude, yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know for sure.
Sounds good.
Cool, man. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed pre-season testing as much as we did. And
and if you didn't, I hope you enjoyed the conversation about it.
Exactly. Okay, from Kelowna, BC, I'm out. From Sydney,
I'm out. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye. Windows rolled down, blows twisted. Feel the smoke now, feel your persistence. On the road now, vision tinted.